Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy, and in this tutorial I'm going to make one of these hats. I'm not going to make this Christmas one. I've been making them for my grandchildren, and I've made one in a larger size which has already been posted, and I also made this lovely colour hat as well for her. So this tutorial's already been done. So because I've already made the Christmas hat for this one, I'm going to make this one in pastel shades. And the yarn that I'm going to use for this hat that I'm going to make now is the James C. Brett Baby Marble. It's a DK3 weight. This is way too much really, but if you, like me, you want to make a nice little pom-pom, it's always wise to have too much yarn. I'm not very good at trimming them, but I've had a go at making the pom-pom, and I'll show you that a bit later. So you're going to need a 4mm crochet hook, a little measuring tape, some darning needles, and a pair of scissors. So that's all the equipment, and I've got a pom-pom maker, but you can use whichever method you normally would, whether you use a piece of card, toilet roll, or a pom-pom maker. But I'm not going to show you how to do the pom-pom. There's plenty of tutorials already for that. So I'm just going to get all my stuff together, and I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, so this one I made in between a newborn and a 0 to 3 months, because the baby will be about 6 weeks old at Christmas, and as it's a Christmas hat, it's kind of time specific, so I knew it couldn't really be worn before or after, really. Well, not long after anyway. So for this one I did it slightly different size, so I will explain the different size between newborn and 0 to 3, because it is quite a subtle difference. So this one I did in between, as I said. So if I was making a newborn, I would start with around 31 chain, which will give me 30 stitches. And if I was doing a 0 to 3, I'd start with 35 chain, so giving me 34. But with this one, I just did 33, so it was kind of in between. Plus this yarn is very drapey and stretchy, so I knew it would fit in any case. So I'm going to get started then, and how we start is by slip knot. I'm going to leave a nice long tail, and for my slip knot I was taught just to make a ring and go around the back, through and pull it. It's quite simple. So I'm just going to put my hook in and just make sure I've got the right size hook. I don't know why, but this 4mm always feels quite chunky, even though it's not. So really we want to make a larger chain for our foundation row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab hold of a 4.5, and I'm just going to make the chain using this hook. So I want to make this 0 to 3 months, because this one will last longer than the Christmas hat. So I'm going to start with 35 chain, and to do a chain with our hook inserted into our loop, we just yarn over and pull through, and that's a chain. It's simple as that. So it's yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through. So I've done 4. Now I don't want to count and put you off, so I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back to you when I've made 35. Okay, so I have 35. I'm going to take that hook out, discard it, and put my size 4 back in, my 4mm. Now for this particular beanie, if you've already seen this tutorial, you'll know that we made these in a UK double crochet, which is a US single, but we're not going to do that with this. We will still use that stitch at some point. I'll show you in a moment. But because this is a newborn baby and their heads are a completely different shape, what we need to do is we need to make it in a half treble, which is a UK term, or a half double in the US. But when we get close to the top, I'm going to use a UK double, which is a US single, because we don't really want it to point, and it will pull it in nicely. So I'll show you what I mean. So in the third chain from the hook, so this is the loop, this one doesn't count, so we've got 1, 2, 3. I'm going to just do a half treble in this stitch. Now I'm going to go through the back loop, which if you turn it over, there's a back bump which is there at the back of the stitch, and it's only because when we join it actually looks a little bit nicer. So how we do that is yarn over, go through, yarn over and pull up a loop, so we have 3 on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. And I'll show you again. There's our next back loop there, our back bump, yarn over and go into that back bump only. So you've just gone through one back bump, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. If you can't do it, if it's too annoying, because sometimes it can be, depending on the yarn you've used as well, that it's fine to just go into the one loop of these as normal. But it does have a slightly better finish if you can do this. So in the next one again, yarn over into that back bump, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. So I'm going to carry on doing this in almost every stitch, and I'm going to change it when I get to the last 4. So for now I'm just going to speed up and go in every one of these back bumps all the way along. It won't make a great deal of difference. If you can't do that, it's fine, but it is worth persevering. It's a technique that sometimes gives you a nicer finish, a better result, and when you do go in the back bump, it kind of automatically turns itself so you can see the next one quite easy. Once you get used to what you're looking at, it just appears there, you see, because it's already slightly turned, so it's kind of sticking up for you already. Sorry if you can hear my cat. She wants to come in and hide under the bed and I can't shut her out. Not that I'm in a bedroom, but the door's closed. Okay, so we're just going in every one until we get to the last 4. And that's what it's looking like, and as you can see, you've got this little ridge at the bottom. Okay, so it's a little boring just watching me going in the back bumps, so I'm going to pause it and I'm going to pick up with you again when I get to this one here, the 5th one from the end. Okay, so I've gone into all these stitches and I've got 4 remaining. So in that last 4, still going through those back bumps, I'm just going to insert my hook and yarn over and pull up a loop. I split the yarn there. Let's do that again. And then yarn over and pull through 2. So I'm just going to do a UK double, which is a US single crochet. So just insert, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through both. And in my last one, okay, so now we've got to the end and you can see it's a little skinnier at the end, but that's just what we wanted. So I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to pull it very tight down, just cinch it down. I don't want that chain, I don't want it to get confused, but it does just end that row nicely to do that. So now I'm going to, in the first 4, I'm going to go in the back loop only, so that's this one here. If you look, this is our work, but if you look at the top, you've got the V. This is our front loop of the V and this is our back loop of the V. So we've got front loops going along here and these are our back. So I'm going to go in the back loops only and I'm going to do my 4 UK doubles or US singles. That's 1 in the back loops only, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm just going to carry on going in the back loops only and doing the half treble, which is a UK term, half double, the same as I did all the way along. And I'm going to go in every single stitch in the back loops, but when I get to the very last one, I'm just going to go in the actual stitch, not through the back loop. Just do that one as normal. Just gives us an easier edge to work with when we finish. But we're just going to go all the way along. If I go ahead of you, then just pause the video and catch up with me. They're going in the back loops and it creates this rib-like effect, just much the same as with the other hat that I made, but with that hat all of the stitches were the UK double or US single. It makes it it doesn't grow quite as quickly because they are shorter stitches, but it does look like knitted ribbon, which is kind of nice. So I'm almost made it to the end. And this is what it's looking like now. We've got this ridge appearing. And just what we want. Oops. Need to pull out some yarn, I think. It's pulling it. So we're just making sure that we're catching that back loop only, and we're not dropping down by accident to the next row, which sometimes can happen on subsequent rows. So now here we are. This is our last back loop, and you can tell because we've got this here. So we're just going to go in both loops for this one as normal, just like a normal stitch. You can see there's the two loops. And we're just going to do that one as normal, and we're going to do the one chain and cinch it right down, and we're going to turn. So this is what it looks like on this side, and on the front or the other side, they both look the same in a minute. We've got the ridges forming. So now we're going to repeat that on this side. So when we get to the end, the last 4 stitches, we're going to do our shorter stitch, and then again when you come back, the 4 stitches, and then carry on with the half trebles or half doubles in the US. So we're going to just go straight in, back loops only. We're only going to work in the back loops of our main stitches, the only difference being the ends of our rows when we'll go into the whole stitch. Just makes it a little easier. So now you need to be careful that when you're turning and having a look, you don't drop into this stitch here. You're only going in this back loop along here. Sometimes it's not so easy to catch it with this stitch, but when you've got the shorter stitches, when you've got the UK doubles, US singles, it's quite easy to somehow miss that one and go into the row beneath. So just watch that when you come to the end of the row. And we're going to carry on all the way along. I just want to show you the ends one more time, because that's basically the pattern now. Just pull some more yarn. Thought I pulled a lot. Okay, so yeah, there's our V. If you get confused at all by looking at this, this is not the V. Just turn it and you can see there's our back loop. It's quite easy to do for a beginner, this hat, but it's got a cute finish to it. Nearly there. So you can use a self-striping yarn like I have, or You can just change colour every row, every other row, however you want to do it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got one more normal stitch. There it is. Couldn't see it because of my camera. Now we've got 4 in the back loops only of the small stitches. Just helps with the shaping at the top of the hat. And then the last one would just go through the whole stitch. One chain, cinch it right down. That way we don't confuse it. And but it just gets us up to the next level, you know, sort of so that it keeps the bottom, the stitch that we've just done, separate, if you like. So now we're going to go through the back loops again, 4 stitches, and then we're going to change up to our half treble, half double, according to which side of the pond you are. Now that's it, basically. That is all we do. So the only thing you need to do is keep your wits about you when you're in this end. You need to make sure that your last 4 and your first 4 stitches are those, and the rest are all through, and all of them apart from the last ones are through the back loops. And you need to now keep going until the work measures. Where's my measurements? Where are we? Until it measures around 28 centimeters. Now for this one I did 27 because I obviously wanted it not quite as long, but once you get to 28 centimeters, which is there, then I will come back to you once my work measures 28 centimeters. Okay, so here we are, measuring 28 centimeters. And now I'm going to show you what we do now, how we close this up. So what we need to do now, bear with me a second while I just clear some stuff out the way and I'll be back with you. Okay, so here we are. Here's my, I haven't ended off or anything, and here's my elongated loop. So I'm just going to hold that up. So what I'm going to do is with this this row, I'm going to join and use the 2 loops. So I'm going to go through 2 loops and just pull that through so it's on the right side. Okay, and I'm going to do a chain because obviously it was on the other side. So now I'm going to go through 2 loops on this side, and on this particular edge I'm going to go through just the back loop, like this one here, and I'm going to yarn over, pull through all those 3 and the loop that's on my hook, and that's what I'm going to do all the way along. So I'm going to try and get that out the way so not to confuse you. So I'm going to go through 2 loops on this side, so that's my foundation row, and on this one, there we are. Which one have I been in there? So there's the back loop, this one here. I'm going to yarn over, pull through all 3, and then the loop on my hook. But I'm going to try not to make it tight, because when you slip stitch sometimes it can be tight. So I'm going through the 2 loops of this one. That's why it's easier to do that foundation row through the back bumps. So now this is the one I've just done. You can see that the yarn is through it. See that? Just there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Try to stay in camera shot. So this is the one that's I've been through already. So I need the back loop of my next stitch, which is there. So there's the one that's got it through already. I'm going to yarn over and pull through those 3, and then the loop that's on my hook. It's so much easier when you're doing it than to try and show you. So I have to get in some odd angles. So I'm going to go into the next one, and again you can see this is the one where my yarn is. So this is my next stitch. I'll go through the back loop only. I don't think I've got it all there. It's tricky at the minute. a minute ago. Ah, there we are. So I'm going to just go through that, the two there and this one, and then on the right side of the work that makes a perfect ridge so you can't see the join. So I'm going to go into the next one, and again there's the one that my yarn's coming through, so this is my next one here. Just go through that back loop, yarn over, pull through and pull through the loop that's on my hook. So if I pull that out, I'm not sure if there's much to show you yet, but as you can see, you can't really see it. It's just like another ridge. So I'm going to carry on, go all the way along, and I shall catch up with you when I get to the top. So I'm now up at the last 4 stitches, and you do them exactly the same way. Exactly the same, it's just that they are smaller stitches, but we just do that exactly as we were right up to the end, but we don't end off when we get to the end. I'm still zoomed in. I might have to unzoom, otherwise you might not see it. It goes off camera very easily when you're that sort of close up. So this is my second to last one. So with the last one we're just going through, obviously either, doesn't matter, just go through both. There we are. So we're all the way to the top. So now I am going to leave a very long tail, very long tail, right, for sewing, and I'm just going to end my stitch as normal. I pull that through. This is just the tail from the beginning. So this is our hat. It looks very small, doesn't it? But that's what we want. So now we grab the darning needle, but if we look, this is going to be our right side. So we pull it through the other way. There we go. And pull the yarn as well with it. And just ignore this tail for now. That can go on the inside. It'll become part of our pom-pom. So just looking for my darning needle. Mislaid it. There it is. And I'm going to thread all that. And now we're going to close the top of our beanie. So just before I do, I just want to recap about the sizing. So for a newborn, we started, if we're going to start, well, wait, let me just get my chart because I did write this down. For a newborn, we start off with 31. Sorry, no, we don't. Well, yes, we do. And for 0 to 3 months, 35. And as you can see, this is quite small. So this is definitely newborn size. So this one, if we are going to do the length, then for a newborn we want 26, and for a 0 to 3 we want 28. So that's how tall we want it to be. So now I'm going to show you how we close this, and I'm just going to make that come through a little bit easier. So now what we're doing, we're going to find the one that we're at, and we're just going to bring our needle through, and then we're going to just catch the next one, and then catch the next one, and catch the next one, and just pull it through. Ignore that tail, and we're just going to keep doing that all the way along. We don't have to be so precise. It's going to be pulled tight anyway. The last few. tricky to get in. And we're just going to pull that tight so that we close that. So we'll always have a little hole, which is fine. So I'm just going to make a stitch and pull this yarn. White chooses this moment to tangle. Why is it? Let's start again. Less of a tail. That might be the answer. So now I'm just going to go and make a stitch, just a small one, so that I can pull through it and make a knot. So now I'm just going to poke that through. Now this is the hat. Now we've got this. That can go on the inside as well. Just grab that, bring it through, get it in the middle. Could have sworn it was already on the inside. There we are. So that's all on the inside as well. There we are. And now we just need to add the pom-pom, which I made earlier. So we need to get our pom-pom tails through this hole. Okay, so here we are, and one of these is a loop, so just cut that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread these, and I'm going to just pop them through, and I'm going to tie them off on the inside. That's not really done very well. I'm useless at threading needles and trimming pom-poms, so it seems. Thank goodness I have thumbnails. So I just going to just put this in there and pull it so that that tail is on the inside, and I'm going to turn it slightly, and I'm going to grab my next one and do the same a little bit further round. I just want to attach these tails. Really good at pulling. It doesn't usually happen, only when I'm on camera does this happen to me. So there we go. And so now I'm going to attach this one in a slightly different area, a bit further along. It just helps secure the pom-pom where I need it. So I'm going to turn it slightly. I'm going to grab the next one, which is here. That'll do me. I don't really want to pull these out, are we? Is that one already in? It is. It is in there. Don't need to be too picky about it, but I don't want it to come out. Then this one can go a little bit further round there, and make sure that's on the inside. Pull it in. We've got one more. Of course, you don't have to do this, you can just attach it, but I like to make sure it's completely anchored in all the areas it kind of needs to be. So there we are with that one there, and then I pull it on the inside. Now just grab hold of those yarns and turn my hat in the other way, and here we are. I've got all these tails. So now I'm just going to tie them so that they are secure. I'm going to tie them very tightly as well, so they're not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to keep my pom-pom completely secure. So those are tied. Just grab another couple. Normally I only have 4, but of course I've left other tails, which is fine. It just all helps to secure the pom-pom on. And then these two, just going to tie them. I'm going to cut that one smaller. Don't really need, that's the one obviously that I ended with. That's that. So now I'm just going to grab a couple and tie these just to be ultra secure. Again, these, sorry, knocking the camera. And then once I've done, I'm just going to get my darning needle and pull them up through the pom-pom and cut them off. But we'll do that in a moment. You don't really need to see me do that. It's quite simple. And then all that's left is to make my little turn up. And there we are. Finished hat. So that really is newborn size. I thought I was making the 0 to 3 months, but it seems that this one's very small. I think it's because this yarn is very, very drapey, but this one is a bit more sturdy. So I think that's, I don't know, probably is 0 to 3 months, isn't it? Look, I'm going to be getting rid of all of those, bringing them up through the pom-pom and cutting them off. So thanks for watching. There will be a left-handed and a right-handed tutorial, so just watch out. If you're in the wrong one, there will be a little card that pops up. I will be doing some more sizes, and I will be doing some boys ones as well. So thanks for watching. Stay safe, and bye bye for now.